Well, if Barraza was a fan of country music before this match, he's certainly not one anymore. What's up, everybody? TN Fanatic here. Hope you all are having a fantastic day, and welcome to another post-game reaction. In this one, I am continuing my coverage of my boys in gold, Nashville SC, and the most recent match against DC United that ends in a 0-0 draw. What a classic barn buster we got right here. The 0-0 draw. It's a classic. Now, even though that there were no goals scored in this match, I feel like there's still a lot to unpack. So I want to talk about just a lot of stuff. And also, I want to talk about, at the end, what fans' perspectives of this match were. I like to think there is one that's really good and one that's really bad. We will get into all of that, but let's dive right in here. Coming into this match, the boys in gold, I feel like we were in a position where we were like sharks in the ocean. Like, we could smell blood in the water. A position to me, not just as a Nashville SC fan, but as a sports fan in general, as a Titans fan and a Preds fan, it's a position that I'm not too familiar with, but one that I would love to have more of. Nashville SC, 5 straight home wins for us. 7-1-1 record at Geodis Park. We are doing great at home. Facing a DC club that honestly, I think they are just trying to find some consistency because it's been a rough year for them. And plus, they are without their star player, Christian Benteke, out for this match. So, again, like, we can smell it. We can smell another win coming. What I was thinking about in the back of my mind was like, okay, hold on. This is not one of those like gotcha games where it's like, oh my gosh, look at this team in the lower standings beat the crap out of a club like a top team in the MLS. Like, I did not want that headline. For Nashville SC, just stick to what was working. 4th best attack and goals scored. Coming into this match, 3rd highest XG in the MLS. Entering this match, facing DC, a club with the worst goals against in the East, 2nd worst in the MLS, to only the one-hit wonders, the LA Galaxy. So, yeah, I wanted some fireworks and I wanted them in this match. We didn't get that, unfortunately. What I will say is that, like, we did great on the possession, and it did result in some nice opportunities. Most notably, in the 13th minute, Teal Bunbury comes into the box. He gets knocked down by Bartlett. But then Teal, he still gets the ball to my boy, Hany Mukhtar. He scores, but the dreaded offside flag comes up. Now, my thoughts on this are as follows. So the initial touch on the ball, if you look back at the footage, I felt like it was touched by Bartlett first. Okay? So with that being said, there's no way Teal is offside if Bartlett touches the ball first. So Teal's out. He's not offside. And there's no way that Hany was. So where did it come from? Where did it come from? I guess by the ref's angle. I guess from certain angles, I guess they thought that Teal touched it first. I really don't know. I was puzzled, man. I was puzzled. So, for us, that was a big bummer, but we still had some nice chances. Now, as for DC, again, stats speak for themselves. The stats that I just threw out for DC, not great, and it showed a lot in this match. Probably the biggest highlight for DC, honestly, was... Alright, so around the 30th minute, Luis Barraza, DC's goalkeeper, there was a moment when the entire match had to be stopped. So he was trying to stop a ball, and I feel a very like overzealous way. Like, he was like acting this was like the World Cup in like extra time, and he's trying to make that like one amazing save. He like dives for the ball. He lands on his knees, and he's like, oh my gosh, medical! I need the medical! And he's just over there, and he's crying, and he's wincing. I'm like, bro, get up. We still have some soccer to play, you scrub. And he takes off a good chunk. It was like 5 or 7 minutes off of the clock where he's just sitting there in so-called pain, and he's like, help me. And look, if that seems mean, okay, if it was a legit injury, if it was legit, okay, why did he get up? Why did he just get up and like he just did a little shake of the leg and it was like, oh yeah, like I'm fine now. Like what do you like? Come on, like he was obviously faking. He's a faker, a big phony faker, fudge cake that he is. Unbelievable. So that took off time, and so even though that all that was going on, DC, they had an opportunity actually to increase their momentum because they got all this rest time. They didn't even have to sub anyone in. And their goalkeeper, Barraza, still stayed in the game. So they didn't even have to sub him out. And so DC, they had, here was their chance to possibly score, but they had tons of turnovers that we almost took advantage of. Now, even though that, again, all that stuff happened and we couldn't capitalize on it, I still feel like we were still in a very good spot. Like we just had to keep up the pressure. And we did in the second half. We had some nice chances. 74th minute, long ball comes in for Nehar. He gets a nice touch on it. He finds Hani, but the angle just wasn't there, and that was an easy tackle for Rollis. And then in the 87th minute, this is a beautiful ball, again by Nehar, who has been doing great for us. Finds Jacob Schavelberg. Then Jacob, he passes to Sam Surridge. And then Sammy has this golden chance, but he kicks the ball. It sails too high. And again, as for DC, look, I watched the whole thing. I looked at everything. I even watched the highlights back. And I was like, did I miss something? Because there was no way that DC, they didn't have anything, right? But that's exactly what it was. I mean, how do you have an XG of 0.1? How's it even possible? I didn't even know that could happen, but it did. We dominated this game. Look, this could have been a game easily where we did what we did to the Fire, just destroy them. Maybe some guys could have got some hat tricks in here. Excuse me. We could have dominated, and on the stat sheet, every other stats, we dominated in except for the score sheet, the most important one. And that's unfortunate. So the match ends 0-0. Now, my perspective, and I will address this again after. You know what? Points are points. Again, as a fan of the Preds and the Titans, and for Nashville SC last year, points were very hard to come by. So, gotta take it. I feel like your points are points. For Joe Willis, it was his fourth straight shutout. His fourth shutout of the year. Very good for Joe. And so this is what I wanted to talk about. This was the perspective. So I looked at everything, and I also looked at fans' reactions to this match. Now, one set of fans, which I feel like I am a part of this, those set of fans see this as still, even though that it was a 0-0 draw, even though that we could have easily dominated DC on the score sheet, it still feels good to get points. It still feels good to have a great performance at home. But then there are the other side of fans, which see this match a little more negatively. If you look on social media, if you look on Instagram, you'll see there are some fans that gave BJ Callahan some criticism for not starting our main guys, not starting guys like Surridge, Nehar, or Jacob Schavelberg. So I do get where those fans are coming from. Because, yes, it almost seems like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you start Sam? Why wouldn't you start Jacob Schaffelberg? I get all of that. What I will look at, I'm looking at the bigger picture here. So, we played Charlotte, right? That's a tough team. Played the Red Bulls. That's another tough team. Yes, Sam is great. Jacob Schaffelberg is great. And Nahar is great. Our top guys are great. But they're still human. They need rest. And how I see it is that, you know what? I would rather start our reserves, like guys like Teal Bunbury, in a match against a lower quality opponent like DC, rather than start them against teams who are really, really good, like Charlotte and the Red Bulls. So I get where fans are coming from. I'm trying to look at the bigger picture of it all, in which, you know what? We got a win over Charlotte, a win over the Red Bulls. We still got points against DC, and looking to the future, we got some road games to play in the, we got the Opie Cup coming up against Orlando. We have to be ready for that. We have to have our top guys ready for that match. So I don't mind it at all that we got the 0-0 draw. Again, we're building something here. It's historic. And again, you know what, DC? Y'all did terrible, so be blessed. Really thank your stars that y'all survived our onslaught and still got a point. As for us, again, I'm not bummed out about it. Let's just continue to build. Hopefully we can translate this great quality of play that we've been having at home. I want to see if we can do that on the road. But fans, that is going to do it for this post-game reaction. Thank you all so much for watching. If you all enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, click that bell, and you can join our Fanatic Army. And a honey salutes to all of you as always, and I hope that all of you have a fantastic day. Go boys and go!